So, hello everyone. This is something I've been thinking about doing for quite a while. So we'll see what happens with it, really. Welcome to the very, very first James Talks podcast. I just thought it was a chance for me to share a little bit more about myself, really. So many comments I've had when I've been doing various audiobooks on Dob 31 Entertainment or for the Home of Potter. Now for Harry World. I'll go into that in a little bit in the not too distant future. Loads of people said, I just love listening to your voice. Some people have just said, it's really calming. That at the end of the day when they're going to bed and so on, that it's really nice to just listen to. So I thought, you know what, if people like listening to my voice, if people like listening to me waffle on about stuff, for example, then rather than just read stories, then obviously what I thought I would do is kind of share a little bit about myself as well and kind of about my day and what we're doing and so on. So straight away, where am I right now? Well, I'm out on a dog walk. It is very early because I'm working today. It's just gone 7 o'clock in the morning. Out in the field. It's a nice dry morning today, and my dog Lola, who is a Portuguese Podengo. I don't know if you've ever heard of a Portuguese Podengo, but we hadn't before we got her. We rescued her from a animal rescue centre about 4 years ago now. Just over 4 years ago, and she is absolutely adorable. She is absolutely beautiful. We absolutely love her to bits. She does look like she's got a little bit of a wet face at the moment, so I'm hoping she hasn't put her face into something that she shouldn't, if you know what I mean. She is absolutely lovely. But morning dog walk, and on days like today, not a chore at all. It wakes you up in the morning. Not raining for a start. Those of you who have listened to my audiobooks from around the world, which is one of the things that always fascinates me. You might know, or you might not know, that I live in the UK, in Plymouth. Plymouth is right down in the southwest of England, it's a city that it's a very spread out city, and it's a real mixture of kind of bits and pieces, really. There's about 250,000 people that live in the area that is called Plymouth, it's also very, very spread out. There's a mixture of kind of urban areas, with the city centre and so on, little town centres, but there's also quite rural areas. So there's an area called Dartmoor, which is a huge kind of national park type area, National Trust, which is protected, so therefore can't be built on, which is not too far away from where I live. And we've got lots of areas nearby where we live, that are absolutely perfect for dog walking. The Plym Valley and the Plym Woods, they're really nearby. I live in Plymouth, down in the UK, and today is a nice day. It's not too bad, and this is what it's like in the UK. You wake up in the morning and you look outside and you think, right, it's not actually raining today. That's a good day. That tends to be sometimes how it feels a little bit. But out on a dog walk. So. Working today. Now, again, some people will know this about me, some people might not, but I am a primary school teacher, and that's where pretty much my kind of love for reading came from. I worked full time for a very long time in schools, one of the things I always loved doing was sharing stories, was actually reading a book. Reading a story to a group of children, trying to do all the voices of the characters and trying to really bring it to life and really try and generate their enthusiasm for reading, because there is so much out there that children can gain from reading. So many things that they can get, which I think really can enhance their imagination. I mean, when I was young, don't want to make myself sound old, but your imagination was pretty much where you got everything from. I was a child of kind of the 80s, showing my age. I grew up with Star Wars and G.I. Joe and things like that. But you had to make up your own games. You had to, you had your figures and stuff like that, and you had to make your own games. But now, a lot of children, the game is done for them. It's online, or it's via a computer game or whatever. Whether it's Microsoft Xbox or Sony PlayStation or whatever, Nintendo. I've got 2 kids myself. I'll talk about them briefly in a bit. They're kind of into all that sort of stuff. But a lot of it's done for them. And books, sometimes get put to the side. Neither of my 2 children. Well, my son's he enjoys reading, and he's a very good reader. My daughter, she kind of put reading to the side a little while ago. Actually, she's got to that stage where she's 14 years old and sees it as a bit of a chore, something that she wouldn't really want to do unless she was told she had to right now. Hopefully that will change over time. But yeah, I wanted to have the chance to read those stories to a wider audience and hopefully engage with children who perhaps didn't have a bedtime story, didn't have the opportunity to kind of engage with a variety of books and so on as well. And yet also a bit of a service for parents as well. Parents who maybe have a very busy lifestyle, maybe have a multitude of children, and so therefore find it quite difficult to kind of make sure that they've got a bedtime story which caters for various children. It sounds awful to say, here's an iPad, watch that, but that was kind of what I had in mind, really, that it allowed parents to have that opportunity for children to have a bedtime story that was suitable for them, that they enjoyed, and delivered to them by someone who actually loved reading and hopefully brought those stories to life. So yeah, that's where it all started. So I've been a primary school teacher for about 24 years, very, very long time now. And as I say, I was teaching full time for 20 years and then decided to take a step back. The next step was to either go into senior leadership and become a deputy head of a school. Had one interview for a deputy headship and decided, came very close to getting the job, and life may have gone in a very different direction if I had got it, but decided to actually take a step back. And yes, I've been doing supply work, which means a substitute teacher, that would be in America, and going, into various schools daily basis, and kind of doing whatever I'm told to do, really, working with kids. And my focus is completely now on teaching, which is exactly what I wanted to do, which is why I went into the job, to actually help children, to actually, help them learn, not to actually sit there with spreadsheets and data on a computer and performance management reviews and all that sort of stuff. And maybe I'll go back into that in the not too distant future, but it is nice to just focus. Your day is on actually going in and hoping that the children get the most they possibly can out of their day. You might be able to hear some birds and crows and all the, as I say, it's just gone, what time is it now? Just looking at my watch, coming up to 7:20, so I need to crack on because I've got to get back and have breakfast and get off to work. But yeah, all the wildlife around me is coming to life here, waking up, all the birds in particularly. There's lots of chirping going on. So that's my job, and that is also why sometimes it's difficult to upload as frequently as I would like to. Sometimes I'd love to be able to get uploads up almost like on a daily basis, but it's been almost impossible because obviously most days I'm working full time. I come home, and then as a teacher, you can't really save your voice throughout the day. You're talking a lot of the time, so therefore when you actually do get home, sometimes you need to give your voice a little bit of a rest. But yeah, a couple of times you'll notice if it's a holiday time, like a half term or an Easter holiday or a Christmas holiday or a summer holiday, the uploads will kind of like suddenly step up a little bit. But that's another reason why I thought about doing podcasts, because this is an opportunity to just, whenever I get a chance, stick the voice memo on and just have a little chat. Have a little chat to myself. I expect I'll get some funny looks if someone walks past me and I'm just chatting away to myself. But yeah, I thought I'd just share a little bit about myself and hopefully you can listen along, interact, and who knows, maybe this will go nowhere, but at the same time, it's something which I'm more than happy to do if people are more than happy to listen. So that's kind of the plan with it. And I won't do this all the time when I'm on a dog walk. You may be able to hear, oh God, I'm not sure I can be bothered to listen to him if he's going to be kind of panting away. Yeah, a lot of this is uphill, by the way. I'm not that unfit. It's we're heading back up now, not too far away from where I need to put Lola's lead back on. Might do this little podcast, episode 1, in a number of different parts. But yeah, I just wanted to get it off and running, really. Lying there last night, I thought, do you know what? I want to do it. I kind of, if I don't start it, it's first thing in the morning, it's going to be on my mind. I really want to kind of get this off and running and see what happens, really. I will be, hopefully, kind of like uploading these on quite a regular basis, and if people listen to them, fantastic. If they don't, well, it's a chance for me to just sort of like waffle away and talk to myself. But any interaction that I can get with people, people kind of feeding back, talking about bits and pieces, and also related to the channels as well. That feedback is always fantastic and is the motivation, really. Hearing that someone's been helped by a video that I've put out, hearing that someone's actually really liked it, and also just being told you're quite talented. Not to give myself a big head, but yeah, it does give you a boost. It's really nice. So anyway, I will continue in a minute. Time to put Lola's lead on. So back from dog walk, and now, really, I suppose lots of people will be thinking, what on earth will be on these podcasts? Well, I think I'll probably vary from podcast to podcast, from episode to episode, really. Just talk about things that, I like, that, people might request to discuss, and go from there, really. We'll see what happens. Certainly, obviously, a lot of people tuning into this, if you have found this and you are listening to it, who knows if anyone will, but if you have, then you may well have come across from one of my channels, whether that's my new Harry Potter channel, Harry World, or the one before that, Home of Potter, which obviously I'll talk about in a second. And also, Dob31 Entertainment, another channel which obviously I've had going for quite a while, with lots and lots of stories on there, particularly children's stories. So a lot of you may have come from those channels. I think it's relevant that I will talk about books, and particularly Harry Potter on this channel. We'll be talking about Harry Potter, we'll be talking about the movies, we'll be talking about the books, we'll be talking about things that I've noticed, about comparisons between the two, but not just Harry Potter. Other books that I find really interesting, we can have a bit of a review, a discussion, films that are coming out. I'm a massive fan of things like Marvel, of things like the Star Wars films and so on, going back a long, long way. But yeah, a real variety of different media, films, books, etc., games, that sort of stuff. I'm probably going to be discussing and talking about, but also about what's going on in the world. The last couple of years have been a very, very strange place, and so yeah, just going into a bit of detail about what's on my mind, maybe what's on your mind. Maybe having a bit of a question and answer session, and maybe doing some shout outs as well. So that's kind of where these podcasts are planned to go. And so it's just going to be a little bit of me, and hopefully a little bit of you as well. Hopefully you'll be able to interact, and I will hopefully be able to get this going. That's been the plan. Now, going back to what I just mentioned about Home of Potter. Now, I quite a while ago, so this is a little bit of history of my time on YouTube, really. Started out doing Dob31. That was my channel, and on Dob31 I started out doing a whole variety of different videos. So there was a whole variety of bits and pieces, really. Some things linked to me. I even had some personal stuff on there that was private for kind of holiday videos, and it was all in one place. I was doing some FIFA videos, player reviews, and I was doing stories, and then I decided to really focus on stories. And so I decided to set up a channel doing audiobooks, and most of them were aimed at children in particular. So that was Dob31. Got up to about 15,000 subscribers, over 8 million views over a period of about 2 or 3 years. Was just, constantly uploading on a very regular basis. And then I started to go and do the Harry Potter books. And so started doing the Harry Potter books, and I was literally uploading a chapter a day, really. So I was doing one chapter, and that was an episode, that was a video, and that's what I'd upload. And I had got as far as pretty much chapter 28, I think it was, of The Goblet of Fire. And it came to a grinding halt. I suddenly got copyright strikes for the whole of The Goblet of Fire, and because I was up to chapter 28, I got something like 16 copyright strikes. I just woke up one morning and it was gone. I had a week to effectively let as many people know as possible that my channel was coming to a very, very sad, abrupt end. And that was that. I decided I'm not quitting. I set up a new channel called Dob31 Entertainment, which is still going strong to this day, fingers crossed. But as I uploaded all my previous content and so on, I had been getting so much feedback from the Harry Potter series that I thought, do you know what? I still want to do those. And so I set up Home of Potter, and I deliberately set it up separately from Dob31 Entertainment because it was the Harry Potter videos which had affected my previous channel. And so I thought, right, if they're on a separate channel, and if something does happen to them, then obviously that won't affect my main channel, Dob31 Entertainment. So that was the plan. Started to upload to Home of Potter, and it took off magnificently. I've been so amazed by the feedback. People saying how it's the best audiobooks that they've heard on not just YouTube but on the internet, full stop. Some people really liking all the character voices that I do. The feedback's been amazing. It's been given me such a boost in terms of my real enthusiasm for doing it and bringing those books to life for people. And it's been lovely in some ways to have a bit of an adult audience as well. I love, on Dob31 Entertainment, the books have been very much orientated towards children, and so it's been really nice with the Harry Potter books to be able to have that feedback from adults. People saying, for example, that they're listening to it while they're working or driving to work, or maybe trying to go to sleep, and kind of sharing it with their partner and so on and things like that. I've really liked the kind of adult communication side of it, and that's another thing that I wanted to introduce with this podcast. Really, this podcast is much more about feedback, and discussion with adults. If I'm honest, children, you're more than welcome to kind of come along and say your bit and so on. But it's nice to have that kind of adult discussion in terms of what's going on in the world and things that we maybe act like big kids around. And Harry Potter is certainly one of those. So Home of Potter was going lovely, and then, Harry Potter ground to a halt again. Home of Potter, just out of the blue, literally only the other day, a whole load of copyright strikes on pretty much every single one of the videos, coming from some kind of strange copywriting company in Russia. I'm sure that's just a coincidence, but there we go, that's what happened. And so, I've transferred across to Harry World. I'm not giving up. I've got all the videos saved. Going to start uploading all of those on there, and hopefully continue until I finish the Deathly Hallows. Part 2 of the Deathly Hallows already up, and part 3 will be underway very soon. And I'll try and get everything that was on Home of Potter up onto Harry World as soon as I possibly can. That's where those channels are at the moment. But what it did make me think was, I love this interaction. I love having a YouTube channel. I love kind of having that interaction in terms of discussion of books and kind of, various other things that I might be interested in, that you might be interested in as well. But it's really hard having that copyright kind of thing hanging over you the entire time, really. Even with Harry World, I'm uploading them all. I will continue reading the rest of the Deathly Hallows until I finish that and it's uploaded. And obviously I'll keep those files, and I will keep on trying my best to upload them wherever I can. Maybe look into other platforms, such as, for example, Spotify or Patreon, things like that. I'm investigating those ways, of maybe getting those out to you in a different way from YouTube, if the same thing continues to happen. But at the same time, I want to have a channel which is not under threat of copyright, and that is effectively what this podcast is also about. Me having the opportunity to build up, hopefully, a community within obviously based around, first of all, you being introduced to me through stories, but then hopefully taking it on to different pastures and going in different directions with it as well. And obviously, I would love to be able to do that in a way where I'm not expecting a copyright strike on almost a daily basis. To be honest, with Home of Potter, I was checking it on a daily basis, just to check that my channel was still there. That can be exhausting. It can be a bit soul destroying as well. The feedback's been amazing, but I'd love to be able to have a channel which can grow. And as I say, it's starting out with me doing voice memos, and that's the way I'm going to start. So this podcast is very much a kind of listen along, but it may be in the not too distant future we start to do some videos as well. And obviously, we'll see how far it goes, really. So that's just really an introduction to James Talks podcast. That's what I'm calling it. James Talks podcast. James Talks podcast. I'll say it again. And for those of you that don't know, that's me, James. That's my name. Dob31, as you may have known me, home of Potter. My name is James. And I will be, hopefully sharing a bit more about myself and about, lots of things that hopefully we can share together through this podcast. And if it's just something that you like to listen to so that I can give you those dulcet tones just so that you can go to sleep. I never take that personally when people say, do you know what? I really get to sleep nice and easily when I'm listening to your voice. You could take that in two ways, really. But I never take it that I'm boring people. I like to think that some people listen to it, just as they're going to bed and so on. And sometimes it can just help them chill out, switch off, have that escapism. That's what books are about. That's what hopefully this podcast is going to be about as well. You can just listen to me waffling on about various things, and then obviously put some things in the comments section that you might like me to discuss or follow up on in the next episode. And that's how we'll go and see what happens, really. So there we go. This first one. Some of the podcasts I might do in the future are going to be probably longer. There'll be much more to discuss, and we'll have a theme for each one. So I will be starting off with something, a particular focus for that episode, and we'll discuss it and talk about it, review it if we need to, and so on. But today's one was just to get the channel started, really, to just say, hi, I'm here. James is here. James Talks podcast is here. And hopefully you can come along for the ride and see where we go. So this is just introducing me. I'll do a little bit more about who I am and my past and so on, so you can get to know me a little bit better. And hopefully we can take it from there. So hopefully you'll come along for the ride, guys. Anyone who's just listened to this is episode 1 of James Talks podcast, and hopefully the first of many. Really hope you can join me for it. I'll be back soon. Anyway, take care, guys. Bye-bye.